Hello, hello. So today I'm going to show you how to make the Ella bikini top as seen here. It was inspired by the great Ella Langley. You might have seen her wear something similar at the Sand in My Boots tour over the summer. I couldn't wait to make my very own, and today I'm going to show you how to make yours. So first off, grab yourself some yarn. Today I'm using Circulo's Charm. It is a number 2 sport weight. I'm using the color black because that is the color of Ella's bikini top. In addition to your yarn, you're going to need a crochet hook. I'm using a 3.5mm hook, some scissors, and I use a stitch marker, but that is optional. And lastly, you're going to need a darning needle to weave in your ends. Okay, so let me just show you what you're going to be making. This is my Ella bikini top here. And let me just zoom out here. In addition to the materials that I just listed, you are also going to need a slotted concho. These can be found relatively inexpensive on eBay. You can get some off of Amazon as well. I think the pack that I got was from Amazon, but you're gonna need a slotted concho. And I have a whole pack of them. I got some interesting looking ones here, like this copper one. And I actually have a whole bag. I will try to find the link from the, I think I got these off Amazon, I'm pretty sure. And if I find the link for it, I will put it in the description box so you can pick yourself up some as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First, you are going to make a slip knot. I insert my hook. I'm going to pull this tight. And with your working yarn, you are going to chain 16. Six, 7, 8. Let me zoom in a little bit more. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? So I've got my 16 chains, and in the third chain from your hook, 1, 2, 3, you are going to half double crochet into that chain. And you are going to half double crochet into every chain all the way until you have one chain remaining. I'm just going to speed this up for you. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I'm in my very last chain right there. Okay. Oh, there was blurry. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so in the very last chain, you are going to put one half double crochet, 2 half double crochets, okay, you are going to chain 1, and now we're going to work down the other side of this. So I'm going to rotate my work, and I'm going to be working back down the other side of this. And in the very same stitch, I'm going to put 2 more half double crochets. So in that very last stitch, I put 2 half double crochets, a chain, and then 2 more. Now, down this other side, I'm just going to half double crochet into each stitch until I get to the end. I put my stitch marker in the chain space just as like a visual guide. I'm coming up on the end here, and I just also wanted to mention that I worked over that beginning tail, so that's one less tail I have to weave in later. Okay. When you get to the end, you're going to chain 2 and you're going to turn your work. And basically, you're going to work that same half double crochet sequence all the way until you get to your stitch marker. Okay. So every time you reach your stitch marker, you are going to place 2 half double crochets followed by a chain and then 2 more, all in the same chain space. And what it does is it creates a bikini cup that gets taller and wider as the rows continue. And one thing I wanted to mention, you don't have to use a 2 sport weight. As you can see, my bikini top is kind of sheer, but I wear this bikini top over a bra, just like how Ella styled hers. So if you're not wanting to wear a bra underneath and you're just wanting to, rock this bikini top, I probably would choose a thicker weighted yarn, like a worsted, something like that, so that it's not as see-through. You can always line the cups as well, and there's lots of videos online to help you do that. But for the sake of this video, I just used a number 2 sport weight, and yes, it is a little see-through there. Okay, I'm continuing on. I'm starting row 2. So again, you are just going to go ahead and half double crochet into each stitch all the way until you get to your stitch marker, okay? So nothing fancy here. It's just essentially all half double crochets. Okay, I'm coming up to my stitch marker. Oops. There we go. My goodness. Okay. So I'm at that chain space. I'm going to take my stitch marker out. And then in that space, I'm going to do 2 half double crochets followed by a chain 1, and then 2 more half double crochets, all in the same chain space. One and one more. Okay, I'm going to put my stitch marker back into the chain space so that I know for the next row where I'm going to do my increase. All right, now down the other side, you're just going to go ahead and work half double crochets all the way until you get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm coming up on the end of my row. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm turning my work. Okay, so you're going to repeat that same process until you get your cup as wide and tall as you want. So for me, I did, let me see here, how many rows did I do? Okay, so for me, I did 10 rows, and I tend to wear somewhere between a B and a C cup. So here I've done up to 5 rows. And so for the sake of time, I'm just going to stop there, and now I'm going to show you how to make the top tie. So once you get your bikini top as wide and tall as you want, you're going to start your next row, And when you get up to the very top of your bikini, this is normally where you would do your increase, your 2 half doubles, your chain 1, and your other 2 half doubles. But since this is going to be my last row in this example, I'm just going to do 2 half double crochets, and I'm going to go ahead and make my top tie. So I'm just going to go ahead and chain up. I believe I did 60 chains. Okay. And this is the part that's going to tie around your neck to wear your bikini top. Okay, so for this example, I think I did 20 chains, but this is a miniature cup. And like I said, for the sake of time, I'm just kind of showing you the process here. So this is going to be your top tie. Like I said, you could leave it like this, but what I like to do is I like to make my tie part of my work because I feel like it's more sturdy. So that's why I go ahead and chain up, and I'm going to slip stitch back down my long chain. And like I said, this is only 20 chains, but when you go to really make it, you can make it as long as you need. I think I did 60. Okay. So I'm just going to keep slip stitching back towards the body of my work, back towards the cup. I got a couple more here to do. Okay. All right. Now, my chain is done. I'm still working into that chain space, and I'm not going to do a chain 1 like I normally did because that long tie counts as that chain 1, I guess. You're doing that in place of. I'm going to put 2 more half double crochets into that same chain space there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish making my cup by working down that other side. So I'm just going to continue doing as I had been by doing half double crochets all the way back down. Okay. My last little half double crochet. All right. So my first cup is made. This is a miniature version of what your cup should look like. And you can always, fasten off if you prefer and just make your tie at the very top. I mean, it's up to you. I usually like to make my ties as part of the project because I just feel like it's more sturdy. Okay, so next we're going to make these little spaces down at the bottom of your cup so that you can hang your fringe from. Okay, so what you're going to do for that, those little holes are going to serve 2 purposes. Okay, so what you're going to do is when you're done making your cup, don't fasten off, but instead now we're going to rotate your work so that you're now going to be working along the bottom of the cup. Okay, so now I'm going to chain 1, and I'm just going to work some single crochets along the bottom of my cup. And I'm just going to do like 1 single crochet per row. So just try to make it as evenly as you can along the bottom. here. Oops, I don't want to go there. Okay. And in this little mini example, I think I did 5 rows. So I'm just going to have 10 single crochets along the bottom here. Okay, so I went ahead and did that. Now I'm going to chain, oh, actually I'm going to chain 3. There we go. Okay, because now we're going to be working some double crochets, but this first stitch here is where I would normally work, but I'm going to skip that one, and in the next stitch I'm going to do a double crochet. So your chain 3 in the beginning is basically a chain 2, and then the third chain is to basically leave a chain space. So you're going to repeat that process along the bottom. You're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, all along the bottom of your cup. Okay. Okay, now I've got all of my holes on the bottom of my bikini top, okay? Now you can fasten off. I'm gonna pull that little tail through. Now, doing it this way, since this tail right here, we went ahead and crocheted over in the very beginning, I could just go ahead and cut that off because that's already been worked over. Okay, so doing it this way, you only have one tail to weave in, which is pretty nice. Okay, so next you're going to want to make your tassels. And for the tassels, I went ahead and cut several strands of the same yarn that I used to make my bikini top. And I cut my strands, I don't know, about 25 inches long or so, just a really long strand. Really, this is dependent upon how long you want your tassels to go. So next you're going to grab 2 strands that are the same length, and you're going to fold them to where they're even. Okay, and then you're going to thread them through each of the holes along the bottom of your bikini top. Okay, so you can use your crochet hook to go ahead and insert your hook into one of the holes, grab all of the strands, and from here you're going to go ahead and insert your fingers and grab all of the strands and pull them through the loop you created. Next, you're going to pull it tight. Okay, you've made your first tassel. Okay, you're just going to repeat that same tassel process until you have put a tassel in each one of those chain spaces, in each one of those holes at the bottom of your bikini top, okay? Okay, so by now you should have made 2 cups. You've made your ties at the top of the cups. You've made all of your chain spaces or your holes at the bottom of each cup, and you have created all of your tassels. Next, you're going to want to make a very long chain. This is going to be used as your back tie. I believe I made a chain of, 150 or 175. Okay, I went ahead and created that very long chain of 150 or 175, and then I slip stitched all the way back down that long chain, and that will be my back tie. I have already weaved that tie in and out along the bottom holes of my first bikini top. I've just weaved it in and out, in and out, in and out along the bottom of my first cup. And now I'm just going to show you how this whole project just comes together, okay? Okay, so before I join my second cup, I want to go ahead and grab my slotted concho, and I'm going to weave my long tie in, coming from the bottom, and I'm going to go over the slot and back down the other side of that concho, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and bring it closer to my first cup, just like so, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and pull that long tie through, and now my tie is ready to go ahead and weave in and out of my second cup. Okay, so you can use your crochet hook, or the holes on the bottom of the bikini top is large enough that you can just do this part with your finger if you like. So basically you're just going to go ahead and weave this in and out of those holes, so over and under each of the chain spaces, and being careful not to get your tassels all tangled up with your tie. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just about done with our Ella bikini top. Don't forget to weave in all of your ends, and then of course you're probably going to want to hit the tassel portion at the very least with a steamer. But that's it, you are all done. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I cannot wait to see what you create. Don't forget to tag me at Mel's Bells Crafts over on Instagram, and let me know in the comments what you think. Would you wear this to your next Ella Langley concert? I know I will.